Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. I hope all of you are fine. We are here with the second part of the lecture, that is absorption and the factors affecting absorption of a drug. And before moving on to the lecture content, let's have a quick recap in what we did in the previous lecture. We discussed about the various factors which can affect the absorption of a drug, and we are dividing them into two main categories, that is drug related factors and patient related factors. And in the drug related factors, it comes the physiochemical properties of a drug. All right. In the drug related factors, I told you earlier that the most important one is the lipid solubility and the degree of ionization. Other factors which can affect the absorption are concentration of the drug, the physical state, molecular size, dosage form, and particle size. It depends if you're giving a drug in which form, like it can be given in the syrup form, it can be given in injectable form, oral form, or a transdermal form, and many other forms in which you can give a drug. Then disintegration time means the rate of breakup of the drug once it reaches inside the body, and the dissolution rate is the rate at which it goes into solution. And the formulation also matters a lot. Same drug compound is manufactured by different pharmaceutical companies, so the formulation affects the absorption of a drug as well. If we define dissolution rate, it means that the drug administered orally in solid forms like tablet, capsules, or suspension in which disintegration but no dissolution has occurred must dissolve in the gastrointestinal fluids before absorption can occur. So it's the preliminary step before the absorption that a drug has to be dissolved in the GI fluids before the absorption can occur. If you see at this flow diagram, it would be more easy for you to understand. For example, the drug crystals in the dosage form, which is in the solid form, when it goes inside the body, the disintegration of the tablet occurs and the drug crystals are exposed to the fluids within the GI. In the dissolution of crystals, the drug gets dissolved in the GI fluids, and hence the absorption of the drug occurs then into the bloodstream, and then after absorption, of course, there would be distribution, metabolism, and excretion of the drug. So this is how the drug follows this pathway. Similarly, I told you that there in the drug related factors, there is various forms of the drug. It can be given in tablets, capsules, powders, suspension, emulsion, or solution. And for a solid drug particles, the important thing is that the disintegration of the tablet into granules, whereas in case of capsule, the dissolution of the shell of the capsule occurs into the granules, and then they're converted into fine particles, and then the dissolution occurs and the drug in the solution goes, and then there would be more absorption of the drug. All right. So if we see, the slowest rate of absorption of the drug is in the tablet form, whereas the fastest is in the solution form. All right. So we are talking about the nature and type of the dosage form of a drug, which is a drug related factor which affects the absorption of a drug. So as a general rule, the bioavailability of a drug varies in different forms. It is more seen with the solution form, and then emulsions, then suspension, capsule, tablets, coated tablets, enteric coated tablets, and then there is the sustained release product. The highest bioavailability is seen with the solution. Regarding the drug-related factors, the most important one is lipid solubility or lipid aqueous partition coefficient. So how do we define it? It's the measure of how readily a drug enters the lipid medium from an aqueous medium. As you can see this diagram and will appreciate that the lipid soluble form of a drug can cross the membrane. So it is non-ionized molecule. It is uncharged and it has got greater absorption, whereas the ionized molecule which has a charge on it, it is water soluble or polar, and it is not crossing the cell membrane. So you need to remember the first and the foremost point for the absorption of a drug is that the drug should be lipid soluble to cross the cell membrane. All right. Another important factor is the effect of the pH on the drug absorption. As earlier mentioned, that acidic drugs are better absorbed in acidic media, whereas basic drugs are better absorbed in basic or alkaline media. So the typical example of acidic drug is aspirin. Alright, I hope all of you know about aspirin. You have heard about aspirin. It's an acidic drug. Its name is acetyl salicylic acid, and it is better absorbed in the stomach. Why it's better absorbed in the stomach? Because you all know the pH of the stomach is acidic, and the basic drug or the alkaline drug are better absorbed in the alkaline media, and you all know the pH of the intestine is alkaline in nature. So to remember this drug with the acidic or basic nature, they are more absorbed in the same pH, whereas in opposite pH, when they're exposed to opposite pH, they become ionized, and then their absorption decreases. They become more excretable. So if there is a poisoning of a drug which is acidic in nature, for example aspirin, if there is accidental poisoning of aspirin, so how can you, with the help of this process of ionization, how can you help to eliminate the drug? Of course, you can alkalinize the urine. So what would happen? The acidic drug in the opposite pH, it is going to be ionized. And once the drug is ionized, it becomes more excretable. It becomes polar. So it's not going to be absorbed back into the body. And same is for the basic drug poisoning. You can acidify the urine. Alright, so this is a very important question. You can be asked in the examination as well, and this has been asked previously twice in your UHS professional examination, that they give a scenario, for example acetaminophen or aspirin or any drug, and they mention the pK of the drug, and they mention that this is an acidic drug or a basic drug, and how with the help of the manipulation of the urinary pH you can help in the excretion of the drug from the body and treat the poisoning. ठीक है, for example toxicity हो गई है एक drug की, accidental भी हो सकती है, ठीक है, and it can be intentional as well. ठीक है, तो how would you treat it? You can treat it. One of the modes of excreting the drug out of the body is that you manipulate the urinary pH. All right. Now, if you talk about the patient-based factors, they are routes of drug administration. And you all know that, of course, rapid absorption is seen with the route which are given through parenteral route, and the pH of the absorbing surface. As I told you earlier, if the acidic or basic drug is exposed to the same pH as their of nature, then there would be more rapid absorption. And surface area has a direct relationship with the absorption of a drug, and thickness has got an inverse relationship with the absorption of drug. If there is a diffusing path has a higher thickness, a great thickness, then the absorption of the drug would be decreased. Vascularity has also got a direct relationship with the absorption of the drug. The more the vascular the organ is, the more is going to be the absorption of a drug. If we say that when we apply an injection at the deltoid muscle, have you ever observed what do you do or what the doctor does after injecting? He usually rubs over there, over that area of the application of the injection. So what is the reason for rubbing that area? Is it to soothe the patient so that the patient does not have pain? No, it is to increase the vascularity of that area so that there is rapid absorption. All right. So if you talk about the absorption from GIT, their presence of food, other drugs, GIT motility, metabolism, GIT disease, and P glycoproteins play a very important role in the absorption of the drugs from the GIT. And we have discussed these factors in the previous lecture as well, and you were assigned a question as well, how gastric emptying time and P glycoprotein affect the absorption of drugs. So the answer to the question is, okay, the effect of food on the drug absorption. Food has basically an unpredictable effect which is irreversible. Have you heard sometimes that please do not take this drug empty stomach, or sometimes you are advised that do take this drug with milk, do take this drug with protein diet. All right. So why it is said so? Basically, food, when once taken, it stimulates the hepatic blood flow, which increases the bioavailability of a drug. And food tends to decrease the rate of gastric emptying. And the drugs affected are penicillins. Alright? And sometimes they form poorly soluble and unabsorbable complexes. As I mentioned earlier, that tetracycline should not be given with the dairy products because they form insoluble complexes with the divalent cations like calcium and magnesium, which are present in the dairy products. So they get accumulated and deposited in the various bones and tissues of the body. Similarly, high protein diet causes poor absorption of drugs, and one of the example is that of levodopa. I hope you all know what is levodopa. It's a drug given for the treatment of Parkinson's disease. Then there is also a big caution that high fat food causes poor absorption of drugs like isoterentoin. So administration of drug with large fluid volume enhances the dissolution rate and the gastric emptying. So these are the major factors which can affect the absorption of a drug related to the food. So now we move on to another important factor which affects the absorption of a drug, which is a drug related factor, and that is the degree of ionization, and it is defined as the extent to which a drug becomes ionized. It depends upon two things. Remember, it depends upon two things. What are the two things which affect the degree of ionization? Number one, pH of the medium in which the drug is to be absorbed, and number two, the pKa of the drug. So students, at this point, please note down that you have to memorize the keywords in a definition. So to complete the definition, instead of rectification, it's better to memorize the keywords. All right. So in the degree of ionization, what are the keywords? It depends upon two factors, pH of the medium and pKa of the drug. And we have already discussed that acidic drugs, they remain unionized in the acidic medium, that is in the stomach. So they are unionized. So unionized form is more absorbable. All right. And same is for the basic drugs. They become more unionized in the basic medium or in the intestine. And there are few examples of the drug which remain highly ionized. They do not become non-ionized. So they are not absorbed. For example, heparin, and further drugs are like neuromuscular blockers, which we'll be covering in the autonomic pharmacology, that is tuberculin and dexamethasone. And some drugs, they do not ionize and remain unionized, and they have a very good absorbing rate. For example, digoxin and chloramphenicol. So now let us see how the Henderson-Hasselbalch equation helps in the absorption of the drugs and understanding the concept of absorption of a drug. And remember one thing, 90% of the drugs are either weak acids and weak bases. And from your previous knowledge of biochemistry and physiology, you know how do you define an acid? So let us see. If you see this equation, HA means H is a proton and A is an acid. So it is, when converted into proton and acid. So how do you define an acid? It is basically a proton donator. So it donates a proton. All right. So as you can see, this HA is, A is for acid and H is for proton. So we can say protonated form of an acid. How do you say HA? Protonated form of an acid, and it is uncharged. So students over here, if you see which form of acid is more absorbable, is it unprotonated or is it protonated? It is unprotonated or protonated. So it is protonated form of an acid is more absorbable because it is non-ionized. But in case of a base, as you can see, HB, H is proton and B is for the base, and it when converts, it gives a base and a proton. All right. So we can say that the unprotonated form of a base is more lipid soluble because it is non-ionized. All right. So we all know that non-ionized form of an acid or in a base has a more rapid rate of absorption. So we can say that protonated form of an acid and unprotonated form of a base has a very high rate of absorption and distribution, and they can cross the lipid bilayers, they can cross the blood-brain barriers. So this is a very important point to remember. How do we define dissociation constant and pKa? What is basically pKa? pKa is a negative logarithm of dissociation constant of the weak electrolyte. So whenever you are talking about pKa, that is of the drug, and whenever you are talking about the pH, that is of the medium where the drug is going to be absorbed. All right. So you would be given some questions like in which the values of the pKa and pH of would be given. So you have to solve the question. So you should know, you should be able to differentiate. Whenever we talk about the pH, it is of the medium, and whenever we talk about the pKa, it is that of the drug. So what is pKa? It's the measure of the strength of the interaction of a compound with a proton. So tell me one thing, as we just mentioned, what is an acid? An acid is that drug which donates a proton. So the pKa is the measure of strength of interaction. So it means the less the interaction, the lower the pKa. So since acids have the tendency to donate proton, they have less interaction and they have a lower pKa. So whenever you will see in the question would be mentioned the aspirin with the pKa of 2.5, whereas in case of a base the pKa would be on the higher side. So why the pKa is lower? Because it has a less interaction with the proton, since it is donating a proton. So thus lower the pKa, the stronger the acid. And remember this thing also. Now the Henderson-Hasselbalch equation, it is very important. You have already covered this in biochemistry. This is just a quick recap of what you have previously done. So pH is equal to pKa plus log unprotonated form over the protonated form. So recall from the previous slide, what is the unprotonated form of an acid? That is ionized. And we all know that the protonated form of an acid is non-ionized. So this is how you can write for an acid. This equation you can write like this. And for a base, of course, that would be non-ionized form, that is the B, over the ionized form, that is the BH. So the difference between, if you are asked which form of an acid is more lipid soluble, so you can say that the protonated form of an acid is more absorbable, it is more lipid soluble, whereas the protonated form of a base is ionized and it is less lipid soluble. So let us have an example. If the pH of the medium is equal to the pKa of the drug, then what happens that this value becomes 0. So the portion of the ionized and non-ionized part of the drug would be same. All right. So this is how, if you calculate it and it shows that the value is 0, and if you divide the log values, then 50% of the drug would be ionized and 50% would be non-ionized. So pKa is numerically equal to the pH at which the drug is 50% ionized and 50% non-ionized. So there is the question, if an acidic drug of pKa 3.5 is put in the medium of pH 3.5, so same value of the pH and same value of the pKa. So what form of the drug would be in the ionized form? So ionized form means it in the non-lipid soluble form because it is charged. So what would be the course? That would be 50% is going to be ionized and 50% would be non-ionized. So this is a table to quickly calculate the percentage of the drug which is non-ionized. So this table gives us the value of non-ionized form of a drug, of a weak acid or weak base. For example, we can calculate it by pH minus pKa. If the value is -2, -1, it can be 0, +1 or +2. As in the previous example of aspirin, you just saw that the pH and the pKa was same. So the answer would be pH minus pKa, that was 3.5 minus 3.5 was 0. So we can say that 50% of the weak acid would be in non-ionized form and the 50% would be in the ionized form. So you have to remember this table so that you can solve many questions as well with the help of this table. So let us have an elaboration of the same concept. This is the lipid bilayer, and for the drug to pass through the lipid bilayer, we know that it should be non-ionized form, and the protonated form of an acid is non-ionized, so it crosses the membranes. In case of a base, we all know that the unprotonated form of a base is non-ionized, so it is going to cross the lipid bilayer. So this is a question for you, that morphine is a weak base with a pKa of 8.0, and what percentage of the drug would be in the ionized form in the urine at the pH of 6. So two things which you have to remember is that it's a weak base. Morphine is a weak base with a pKa of 8, and the question is asking about the ionized form. All right. That table was giving you the non-ionized form, the lipid soluble form. So you have to calculate the ionized form. So once you calculate the non-ionized form, you can easily calculate the ionized as well. And the urinary pH is 6. So first of all, the first most important step was pH minus pKa. So pH is 6 and pKa of the drug is 8. So it comes 6 minus 8 is -2. So now calculate with the help of the steps and the table that what form of the drug would be in the ionized form, that is the non-lipid soluble form. All right, so for your assignment, draw the table which I just showed you in the previous slide, which tells us about the lipid soluble form of a drug, which you can calculate it and solve this question, that what percentage of this morphine would be in the polar form or the water soluble form or the ionized form. All right, so send this answer from your notebook to the respective WhatsApp groups, and it's a very important topic of absorption. We discussed about the drug related factors, the patient related factors, and the condition of the GIT. We discussed about the factors which affect the absorption directly and some indirectly, and we discussed about the degree of ionization and lipid solubility. How do these affect the absorption of a drug? We also talked about the scenario which can be asked in exam, that for example the toxicity of any acidic or basic drug, and how with the help of the urinary pH you can excrete or eliminate the drug from the body. With that, we end today's lecture, and we'll see you next time with the next parameter of pharmacokinetics, that is distribution of drugs. Thank you very much.